People say curiosity killed the cat. I used to laugh at that, until I opened the suitcase and realized some things are locked for a reason. It started at a neighborhood yard sale I was helping my friend Clara with. She was clearing out her uncle's old house after he passed. The guy was a bit of a recluse, lived alone, barely talked to neighbors, and his house was packed to the ceiling with junk. Clara told me he had been a hoarder. We were sorting through his attic when I saw it. A large, olive green suitcase shoved under a tarp. It was heavy, locked, and reeked of mildew and something sharper. "Don't bother with that," Clara said. "It's been up here forever. I couldn't find a key." But something about it caught my attention. It was the only thing he hid. Everything else was scattered carelessly, but not this. This was tucked away like a secret. So I brought it downstairs and set it near the table with the rest of the junk. The sale was slow. A few browsers, mostly older folks. Then this man showed up. Middle-aged, slouched posture, sweat on his forehead even though it wasn't hot. He didn't look at anything, just beelined straight for the suitcase. His hands shook as he touched it. Then he looked at me and whispered, "Please, don't sell this." I chuckled, thinking he was being weird. "I mean, it's just a suitcase, man." His eyes locked onto mine, wide, terrified. "Number, don't open it. Please, if you haven't already. Just leave it alone." He tried to hand me $100. "I'll take it. I'll get rid of it." Clara stepped in and told him to leave. "I warned you," he said, pointing a trembling finger at me. "It doesn't end when it's opened. It starts." Then he walked off. That night I couldn't stop thinking about it. Was it some kind of antique? Did it have drugs or cash inside? What was he so scared of? I took it home, smashed the lock with a hammer. It clicked open. The smell hit first, like rotting meat soaked in bleach. Inside were several items wrapped in yellowed cloth, an old hairbrush, a child's sock, a doll with its face scratched out, and a Polaroid. A little girl, maybe 6 years old. Dirty blonde hair, a blank stare, and behind her, someone standing in the shadows. Barely visible, but unmistakably there. I flipped the photo over. "Mine," it said, in shaky handwriting. That night, I dreamed of her, the little girl from the photo. She stood at the foot of my bed, not moving, just staring. When I tried to speak, her mouth opened and let out a scream that didn't stop. I woke up gasping. My apartment was freezing. The suitcase was still open. But the photo was gone. Inside a side pocket of the suitcase, I found 2 mini cassette tapes. I borrowed a recorder from an antique shop and played the first one. Static. Then a man's voice. "She won't stop crying. I told her it's her fault. They always cry." Tape 2 was worse. He said I could stop. Said if I gave her to him, he'd leave me alone. But he lied. Now there's more of them. They scratch at the walls. They whisper when the lights go out. Click. I threw the recorder across the room. What the hell was this? I called Clara. She swore she didn't know anything about the tapes, but she remembered something odd. Her uncle had spent time in a psychiatric hospital in the late 80s, released after just 6 months. Curious, I dug deeper. Local records, newspaper archives. That's when I found it. 1989. 3 girls disappeared within a 30-mile radius. All under the age of 10. Never found, no suspects, but one article mentioned a man questioned and released. Insufficient evidence. His name? Thomas Bray, Clara's uncle. That night, I heard scratching, coming from inside the suitcase. At first, I thought it was a rat, until I heard it. Breathe. I flung it shut, duct-taped it closed, but the noises kept coming, and the dreams returned. Except this time, it wasn't just the girl. It was something behind her, something tall, with arms too long. Its head tilted, watching me from corners. When I woke, my bedroom walls had deep gouges in them. 3 long scratches, like claws. My fingernails were cracked and bloody. I drove back to the house. It was abandoned now. Clara had moved. Left town without a word. But the man from the yard sale was there, waiting on the porch. "You opened it," he said. I nodded. He sighed. "It wants you now." "What does?" He pointed to the suitcase in my car. "You made a deal. You just didn't know it." I asked what I was supposed to do, how to stop it. "You can't. You carry it now, like he did, like I did, like the next one will." He handed me a roll of tape. "Seal it, hide it, hope no one opens it again." I followed his advice, taped it, sealed it, locked it in my attic. It's been 3 weeks. The scratching still comes some nights, and the dreams are worse. Last night I saw a new girl in them. She looked like my niece. Then this morning, a Polaroid slid under my front door. It was her, standing in her bedroom, smiling, and in the shadows behind her, that thing, watching, waiting. So if you ever see a suitcase for sale, old, dusty, and heavier than it should be, don't open it, don't touch it, because some things aren't meant to be found. They're meant to find you. I go to yard sales for the weird stuff, not for the baby clothes or broken toasters. I'm talking about the boxes of old photographs, half-finished scrapbooks, junk people just want gone. There's something eerie about other people's memories. But this time, what I found wasn't just eerie, it was criminal, and someone may have seen me take it. It was a cloudy Saturday in May. I was driving through a rural neighborhood outside of town when I saw a cardboard sign that read, "Yard Sale, 658 Staten Acre Way." The driveway was littered with the usual: tools, lamps, clothes, kids' toys. But in the back, under a dusty tarp, I found a weathered milk crate full of old VHS tapes. Home videos, labeled things like Christmas 1993, Camping Trip, and Emily's birthday. No prices. Just a note that said, $5 for the whole box. An older man in a folding chair nodded when I held it up. "You sure?" I asked. "These yours?" He just said, "Not anymore." Back home, I wiped dust off my old VCR with some all-purpose cleaner and popped in the first tape. It was exactly what I expected. A grainy video of a little girl unwrapping presents. Emily, I assumed. Her mom and dad laughing off camera. Very wholesome and nostalgic. The next few tapes were more of the same. Birthday parties, Christmas mornings, a camping trip in the woods. Then I reached one with no label. Just a strip of black tape where the sticker had been peeled off. I pressed play. It started in someone's backyard. The same girl, Emily, running through a sprinkler. But this time, the camera wasn't being held by a family member. It was too steady, and it was recording from behind a fence. At first, I thought maybe it was an artsy shot, until the camera zoomed in on the girl's bedroom window. Then another clip. Different day. Emily walking home from school, backpack bouncing, the camera hidden behind a tree. She pauses to tie her shoe. The camera gets closer. My stomach started to churn. This wasn't a home video. This was surveillance. I fast-forwarded. More clips. The same girl, getting older in each one. Different clothes, different seasons, same watcher. Then it cut to night vision. Emily's bedroom window. Lights off inside. The video zoomed until you could just make out the shape of someone sleeping. The tape ended. I dug back into the box, heart pounding. Found another blank labeled tape. This one started in the woods. The camera was moving, walking, panting slightly. Branches cracked underfoot. Then, a clearing. Emily, sitting on a log, face bruised, hands bound, mouth taped shut. She looked directly at the camera and whispered something I couldn't hear. Then the tape glitched, cut to static. Then a close-up of a license plate. The screen went black. I didn't sleep that night. I searched online for missing persons reports, typed in, Emily 1990s, brown hair missing. It didn't take long. Emily Darnell, reported missing in 1999. Last seen leaving school, case unsolved. I went back to the yard sale the next day, but the house was empty. No cars, no furniture, for sale sign out front. I asked the neighbor what happened. Oh, that house? Foreclosed. The old man who lived there just packed up and left last week. Didn't even say goodbye. I told her I had bought some of his tapes. She blinked. What tapes? Home videos, I said. From the family that used to live there. She shook her head slowly. No family ever lived there. That old man lived alone. Never had visitors. Gave us the creeps, honestly. I took the tapes to the police. Showed them everything. The videos, the stalking, the girl in the woods. They took it seriously. An officer told me they'd reopen the case. Said I might have just cracked a 25-year-old mystery. For a while, I felt useful. Like I'd done something good. Until the call came. It was a detective. He asked if I'd ever been to Kentucky. No, I said. Why? Well, the third tape, the one with the woods, was shot in Kentucky. And your name came up because that license plate at the end? He paused. It's registered to you. I told them it had to be a mistake. That maybe the old man had stolen the plate and filmed it to frame someone. They didn't buy it. They asked where I was on specific dates. They took my fingerprints. Asked me if I had ever known an Emily Darnell. I told them no, but I couldn't help thinking. What if those were my tapes? What if I had forgotten something? What if I did know her? That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing her face, hearing her muffled voice. I replayed the tape again and again, trying to hear what she said. And finally, I caught it. She wasn't whispering for help. She was saying my name. I don't know what's real anymore. I don't know if I found those tapes, or if I made them. The police are still investigating. I haven't been charged. Not yet. But sometimes I wonder, did I stumble on someone else's crime? Or did I leave myself a reminder? A warning. There was nothing special about the yard sale. Just a quiet Saturday in a quiet neighborhood. Until I found the badge. A heavy, rusted piece of metal that changed everything. I thought it was just a relic. I didn't realize it was a warning. Now I can't sleep. Because someone's watching me. and I think they want it back. It started at a small yard sale tucked behind an old Victorian house. A woman in her 60s ran it, told me her husband had died and she was downsizing. Most of the stuff was junk. Faded books, tools, VHS tapes. Then I saw the badge. It was buried beneath a box of random metal scraps, tarnished but intact. City of Ravenwood, police was engraved around the edges, a number, 417, and beneath that, detective. It was cold in my hand, heavier than it looked. "How much?" I asked. The woman looked up from her chair, startled, like she hadn't realized it was still there. "Oh, that? You can have it? Are you sure?" She hesitated. "Yes, he didn't talk about that job." I didn't ask more. I just pocketed it. That night, I put the badge on my bookshelf. Didn't think much about it. Until 3 a.m., I woke up to a thud, followed by footsteps, slow, deliberate, inside my apartment. I grabbed a bat, heart pounding, but found nothing. Doors locked, windows shut. Only thing different? The badge had fallen to the floor. I chalked it up to gravity and nerves. But then it kept happening. Every night around 3 a.m., a thud, footsteps, badge on the floor. So I locked it in a drawer. But somehow, it kept ending up out, on my nightstand, or the kitchen counter. 3 days later, I noticed him, a man in a gray coat, standing across the street from my apartment building, just staring. Next day, I saw him again. Different street, same stare. Then again at the grocery store. I tried to confront him, crossed the street, raised my voice. He turned the corner and vanished. That night, I heard my front door click. It wasn't broken, but the deadbolt was unlocked, and the badge was on my pillow. I needed answers. I called the Ravenwood Police Department, asked about badge 417. There was a pause. Then the woman on the line said, "I'm going to transfer you to someone." Another pause. Then a deep voice. "Where did you see that badge?" "I bought it at a yard sale. You need to get rid of it, immediately." "Why?" "Because that badge belonged to a man who disappeared in 1996. Detective Albert Rayner. He went missing while investigating a string of ritualistic murders. The case was closed, but his badge was never recovered." I asked how it ended up in a yard sale. The voice dropped lower. "Because no one ever found his body." Click. The next day, I checked the badge closely. Beneath the grime, I noticed strange etchings on the back, tiny symbols scratched into the metal. I looked them up. Some sort of occult language. Repeated phrases like, "He sees through the badge." "The seal is broken. Let the witness be marked." I felt sick. I threw the badge into the dumpster behind my building. That night, I woke up choking. The badge was back, on my chest. I set up cameras, motion sensors, traps, but they caught nothing. No movement, no intrusions, only static. Every recording from 3 a.m. to 3:17 a.m. was corrupted. Black screen, piercing audio. But one night, a single frame slipped through. A blurred silhouette standing at the foot of my bed. Not the man in gray. Taller. Leaning forward. Watching. I packed the badge in a box, drove to the nearest river, and threw it in. Thought it was over. But the next morning it was in my mailbox, with a note. "You carry the eyes now." I went back to the yard sale house. The woman was gone. Place looked abandoned, but the front door was unlocked. Inside, the house was gutted, empty, except for one room. In the basement, I found an altar, lit candles, animal bones, photos of people asleep in their beds, including me. And in the center, another badge, cracked in half. Detective badge 416. I turned to leave, and he was there, the man in gray, but his coat was stained red, his eyes pitch black. "You opened it," he whispered. "Now it opens you." I don't remember driving home, but when I got there, my apartment was different, colder, quieter. On my table was a new badge, number 418, with my name engraved. I tried to call the police, but when I gave them my name, they said I'd been reported missing 5 days ago. When I looked in the mirror, I wasn't wearing my clothes. I was in a gray coat. If you see an old police badge at a yard sale, don't touch it. Don't bring it home, because it's not just a relic, it's a beacon. And once it finds you, you're not the same. You're not you anymore. You're just the next badge in line.